Good everyone, my name is Graphics. If you look at the front of your screen, you will see a question, and the question says a bag contains 5 white balls and 8 red balls. If 2 balls are picked at random without replacement, what is the probability of picking A. 2 red balls, B. 1 red and a white ball in that order, C. 1 red and 1 white in any order? Is that okay? So the first thing you have to do is to write down the givens, and the givens in this question is the number of white balls is 5, the number of red balls is 8. Then the total number of balls will now be 5 plus 8, and that is what? 13. So one thing you should put in your head is that it is without replacement. As you are removing any ball, right, you are not replacing them. Are we together? And remember, we're selecting. So we move forward. So for Roman figure, for A, it says probability that 2 red balls are being selected equals to the probability that the first is a red ball and probability that the second is a red ball. That is our formula there, right? So if the first ball is to be red, so the probability of the first ball being red is that what? The total number of the ball of red that we have there is 8 all over what? The total number of balls, which is what? 13. So that means before you put your hand, let's assume the balls are in a basket, and you are picking without looking, right? In your mind, to pick the first red ball, in your mind, you have 8 red balls and the total ball in the basket is 13. So it will be 8 over 13 because you're not taking anything yet. Are we together? So 8 over 13. Now, that is for that. Now, if you now pick a ball and the ball happens to be a red ball again, you pick the first one. Before you pick it, you don't know what it will be, but if it is a red, you have the chances that you are meeting 8 red balls out of 13 balls there. Now, you now want to pick again for the second time, and you want it to be a red ball. So if the first one was a red ball, that means it has reduced. The number of red balls have reduced to 7, and the number of the total ball in the basket have reduced to what? To 12. So probability of choosing a red ball will be 7 over 12 for the second time. So the probability of taking 2 red balls now will now be 8 over 13 multiplied by what? 12. That is probability of the first to be red ball, and probability that the second to be red ball will be 8 over 13 times 7 over 12. The word and here means we're multiplying both of them. And again, this is what? A combination. We're selecting. So we're moving forward. So when you do that, 8 times 7 is 56. And 13 times 12 is what? 156. And we're having 14 over 39. Now we'll move forward. It says probability for the next question B. It says probability that the first is a red and a white ball. To pick the first to be red and what? A white ball in that order will be equals to probability that the first is a red ball and probability that the second is a white ball. That is the formula. So let's see. Probability that the first one is red. As you are going to the basket, let's assume the balls are in the basket. As you are selecting from the basket, in your mind or in your head, you have been told already that you have 8 red balls and what? 13 balls in total. So probability of picking one red is 8, and probability of picking an 8 out of what? Out of 13 Is that okay now? So that's what we have there. So now, if you now go now, when you now pick the first one to be red ball, have it in mind that it has reduced. The amount of red balls have now reduced to 7, but the amount of white balls still remain the same amount, which is what? 5. Are we together? So in the basket, you are expecting 5 white balls, 7 red balls, and the amount of total ball is what? Is 12, because you've already selected one already. So probability of picking a white. Now remember, as you are going there, you're expected to see 5 white balls, because you've not selected from white already. You've already selected from what? From the red. So the total amount of ball remaining, since you remove one red ball, is now 12. So we're having 5 over 12. That is for that. So the probability of picking one red ball and a white ball is what? Is 8 over 13 multiplied by 5 over what? Over 12. And that will give us in total to be what? 10 all over 39. That is for that. So for the third question here, right? It says the probability that 1 is red and 1 is white in any order. So what you do here is, there are two possible ordering, right? The first one is red and the other one is white, which we did, and we have got what? 10 over 39. While the other one, the first one should be white, then the second one should be what? Should be red, right? Now, if you look at it closely, white and red, or red and white, is the same thing, only that you've changed their position. And we know that, and it is multiplication because we have hand in between them. So multiplication is associative. You can move them, change their position, nothing changes. So I'm having red and white, which is 10 over 39. Similarly, white and red will also give us what? The same 10 over 39. Right? So since we're using the word or here, means you're going to what? You're going to add. So the probability 1 red and 1 is white in any order will be 10 over 39 plus 10 over 39, and that will give us what? 20 over 39, and that will be our answer, right? So in this case, we're assuming in two different ways. If we assume that let the first be red and let the second be white, or let the first be white and let the second be red. So that's what we're just assuming here. So if you found the video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share the video. Thanks for watching.